The Chicago Bulls played their fourth Summer League game today, and with only one Summer League game left on the schedule after this game, how did the Chicago Bulls that were looking forward to earning roles on the team next season end up performing? We're going to talk about that plus more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions do apply. What's going on, Bulls fans? So we, the Bulls, had another Summer League game today, and this one was a little bit different. To start, our rookie in Matas Buzelis actually came off the bench in this game. He still ended up playing almost 30 minutes, mainly due to the team going into overtime in this game, which, you know, it was a fun game, right? Really fun back and forth game. The Summer League overtime rules are a little bit different. They just add on 7 points as a target score. Whoever's first to get to that score wins the game. The Bulls do end up pulling this game out 103-99. And just to start it off, Buzelis in this game didn't play all that well on the stat sheet. Seemed like he never really got in rhythm as well. Now, DJ Stewart was in very good rhythm in this game and, you know, kind of changed the prioritization kind of on the offense some. But Buzelis, for what it's worth, finished with 11 points on 4 of 17 shooting, 1 of 6 from three-point range. He did have a couple of really good dunks in that game, but 5 steals, 1 block, 2 rebounds, but 5 turnovers in this game. So not the strong play that we've seen from Buzelis, even though throughout the Summer League, he hasn't really shot the ball overly effectively, but he has been putting up numbers. Things like that. It was still a game where, like I said, he still made some highlight reel plays. You still got to see his ability to take players off the dribble, things like that. It wasn't as strong of a performance, but I think some of that may have been by design. It's when you already look at the fact that, you know, they didn't start him in this game. He didn't play his usual role. It seemed like they were going to a lot of the other players. And for what it's worth, Julian Phillips, Adama Sanogo, DJ Stewart, they had it going most of this game. So he kind of was playing more of a complimentary role over the course of this game as it went on. But for what that's worth, I know I've talked a lot about DJ Stewart. This is a young point guard who played at Duke. Still, I think, 22, 23 years old. He played 32 minutes, won 11 of 19 from the field, 8 of 14 from three-point range, and 7 of 7 from free throw range as well. He had 7 assists, 37 points, 3 rebounds. He played extremely well in this game. And in a summer league where the two players on two-way contracts in Henry Drell and Andrew Funk just have not played well, well, I guess Henry Drell isn't necessarily on that last two-way deal as of yet, but he just hasn't looked that good. Neither one of them have looked that good. I do think DJ Stewart has a chance to be on the Windy City Bulls next year. Now, I don't know if that's going to be on a two-way, if that's just going to be on a straightforward G League contract. But when you look at the strength of play that he's had here in that summer league, if anybody's really made a case for themselves to earn a G League contract on this summer league Bulls team because of their performance in summer league, it really does come down to DJ Stewart. I think he's played the best throughout this. For example, Andrew Funk got to start this game. He went 2 of 5 from the field, only 7 points. Henry Drell, 1 of 4 from the field, 19 minutes, only 2 points. Just has not looked good. Neither one of them have looked good in my opinion. But to get back on track with this, the two players that have looked the best in this game that are going to at least be on two-way contracts or on actual deals next year is Adama Sanogo and Julian Phillips. They looked extremely good in this game. Julian Phillips, 6 of 10 from this game, 4 of 7 from three-point range, 21 points, 2 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block from the stat sheet. But, you know, as I've always said with Summer League, it's about the process, not necessarily the result, not necessarily the stats. And Julian Phillips in this game was just a lot more decisive on both sides of the ball. He doesn't hesitate to shoot, to jack up shots in this one. The 4 of 7 from three-point range is a really good number for Julian Phillips, who's looking to, you know, add that three-point shot. And for Julian, who already has talked about, you know, being on this younger team, and especially with DeMar DeRozan gone, and how much faster this team is going to play, and how he sees himself fitting into a role on this team. Julian Phillips has had a really, really strong summer league, in my opinion. And I look at Julian Phillips play as he at least has earned the opportunity for a shot. And I know that's kind of a lot of double speak there. I think coming into training camp, we're going to look at Julian Phillips, and he's going to be given a chance so that he deserves minutes. And to his credit, he finished that season getting a lot of minutes for the Chicago Bulls, right? Before his injury, it seemed like Billy Donovan was starting to trust him more. Now, that was, I think, when Torrey Craig was out, things like that. But it seemed like he had started earning some trust from Billy Donovan. And so if that continues, right, and he's able to build off of that coming into next season, there's no reason to be too concerned that he's at least going to give an opportunity. We're a much younger team. Julian Phillips with his defense, especially on a team that could be lacking some defense. And if he's able to bring that energy, run with a point guard like Josh Jiddey, I think that overall Julian Phillips has definitely shown enough to say, hey, he may have really worked on a lot of the things in his game that we wanted him to work on from last season. And I don't look at that as a negative at all when it comes to Julian Phillips. So like the play from Julian Phillips. And then Adama just continues to show that he's above this level of competition. And like I've said on my show and other shows, that's what you want from a player like Adama Sanogo right now. You want for him to look like he's above the level of competition that he's playing. Keep in mind, this is an undrafted rookie that we signed. And his G League numbers were amazing. I know we talked a lot about them, but then when you look at this game, the stats, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 assist, 2 blocks, 17 points. He had the highest plus minus of plus 22. But the thing that just makes Adama Sanogo so solid, he's a solid free throw shooter, 5 of 6 in this game. So not really looking at like using the hack or whatever, method against him, but he's just an active player. And with that activity that he brings on the boards, that's going to get an easy shots offensively. He's a smart player as well on both sides of the ball, understanding how to be used in rotations, things like that. I used to be concerned about him in pick and roll and switchable defense, but he's really shown an ability to be at least solid enough in that. In no way am I saying that Adama Sanogo is going to turn into this star player, the starting caliber center, but for what you've gotten and the potential there in an undrafted rookie to turn into some type of role player for you, Adama Sanogo continues to show that he may at least be on that level. And that, for one, is not something that I can knock, right? If Adama Sanogo ends up being your third big off the bench, or God even forbid he can turn into a solid backup center for you that you can use in some rotations, it's not bad. That's really, really good quality out of that. So I think when you look at this overall, the 3 players that I don't want to say matter because I don't want to kind of disrespect anybody else, right? But the 3 players that you look at is trying to earn roles on this Bulls team next season. Matas Buzelis has shown a lot already in his time of what he can be. And that's, you appreciate seeing that from Buzelis for sure. But then on top of that as well, like you've seen from Buzelis, that he can take players off the dribble, his offense, the edge that he has, the fact that he doesn't back down defensively, those weak side blocks that he gets regularly as well. I'm really looking forward to see what that can turn into at the NBA level for him. So those things, Matas has shown a whole heck of a lot, in my opinion, and things that I like to see from a player like this. And then you look at Julian Phillips. Any injury concerns are gone. The activity that he showed, those type of things are all still there. For a team that lost 2 important energy players in Alex Caruso and Javonte Green, because we don't have an open roster spot right now, Julian Phillips has at least shown that he can come in and be an energy guy and has more upside than that. And again, as a second round draft pick, that's all positive as well. And then Adama Sanogo, just talked about it, can wax poetic about Adama Sanogo all day. This is going in the direction of maybe AK starting to redeem himself with some of the decisions that he's made here in his time with the Chicago Bulls, right? The decisions haven't always been the best. And that is something that I think even the biggest Bulls fan would be able to tell you, yeah, it's left a lot to be desired here from these players at times. And so, with that said, with things looking kind of up, maybe we're starting to head in the direction that some of these decisions that AK's made on these young players start paying off, especially when you look at these players playing potentially like with Josh Jiddey and what that can mean for them, as Josh Jiddey, who we'll talk about here in the second segment, has continued to show flashes of what he can bring as far as point guardsmanship to this team. I really like what this summer league has brought. I really like the way that, and even hearing how Bulls fans have talked now about Matas Buzelis and kind of the excitement that's gotten around him, his confidence level is through the roof. And so that all is really it's addictive, right? It's something that can be contagious throughout the roster and throughout the fan base. And this Bulls fan base is looking for something. And so, a lot of things that can be positive from this level of competition. We just got to see how they're going to translate it over and how they're going to use this as a launching pad to prepare themselves for the NBA season. So let me know what you guys think on that down below. Next up, we're going to be talking about Josh Jiddey, his performance over in the Olympics for Team Australia. But before we get into that, we got to get into a message from Gametime. Gametime is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. The Gametime also has deals on last-minute tickets. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. You can save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game and or event. And with the Gametime ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDON NBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Low last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, Bulls fans. One of the first moves, not one of the first move that really kind of indicated that the Bulls were going in a different direction this offseason was the trade with the Oklahoma City Thunder, sending Alex Caruso for Josh Jiddey. And while Josh Giddey's season ended badly with the OKC Thunder because of reasons, right? Certain matchups that didn't work with, the fact that they played players like Isaiah Joe and things ahead of him because they needed the shooting. And they had their point guard in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Josh Jiddey, that the response from Bulls fans has been mixed. You have some Bulls fans that really look at Josh Jiddey and they can kind of see the vision there and understand what he's bringing to the team. And you have some Bulls fans that are understandably asking, what about Kobe? Why are you taking the ball out of Kobe's hands? Why are you doing that? And all that won't be told exactly until this team gets on the court together and we start seeing how that balance is going to be. It's really up as well to Billy Donovan to find and strike that right balance in the game plan and what the actions that they run for certain players are. But Josh Jiddey, for his credit, has continued to show over in the Olympic play that he can ball. And today, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists in 25 minutes. And if you watch that game, you could easily see that Josh Jiddey could have gotten 3, 4 more assists in that game had his teammates hit the shots that he created. And that's why when we initially got Josh Jiddey, I don't know if you guys are going to remember or not, I went to the stat and I looked at the fact that Josh Jiddey is in the 91st percentile of generating open shots for teammates. And the reason why I like to use that stat is that it's a different type of stat than assists. Assists is in the results. That open shots generated is more so in the process, right? In what ability that he brings here. And that's what Josh Giddey is going to bring to the Chicago Bulls team. When you look at Josh Giddey play, and anybody who has the interest or has the ability, please watch this game. Go and check this game out. Don't just take my word for it. But what you see here in the way that Josh Giddey performed, in my opinion, was the Josh Giddey that showed that he understands how to manipulate and use his body and read the defense to create open shots for his teammates. And that's something that creates a different look here for me, is that Josh Giddey has such a good basketball IQ, not necessarily a defensive IQ, because he doesn't have that. He's not a really good defender. But on the offensive side of the ball, as a point guard, the point guardsmanship aspect of it, he brings something that this team could sorely use. And I think with the offensive weapons that we have here is that he is going to be able to maximize on that skill set by creating open looks for his teammates, as well as getting out in transition and things like that. You look at that for Josh Giddey, and when you look at that and evaluate it, Giddey brings potentially a whole lot of half-court creation for this team that we just haven't had here for a while. Even when you go back to the Lonzo Ball era and things like that, Lonzo didn't get really a lot of time to operate as a point guard in the half court. A lot of that went to DeMar DeRozan. He got some. So, while he's a limited offensive player as far as three-point shooting, when you look at the way that he can get to the rim, the way that he does understand what the defense is and how to pick apart that zone by using and getting to certain spots to make the defense move the way that he wants them to move. And then as long as we're going to have players that are playing off the ball, which is something that is understandably a big question mark here because we have not seen it a lot with this team. We haven't seen a lot of it. But when you add in Buzelis, who is a player that can move off ball, we've seen some of that with Zach LaVine. Zach's still here, so you hope that he's going to do that. Ayo and then Kobe's growth in that area as well, right? It's going to help those things. One of the things that Kobe White, we looked at towards the end of that season that he needed to grow and learn from and do better was how defenses adjusted to him. When defenses started game planning for Kobe White, that's where we started to see, on top of the injury and things like that Kobe White slowed down a little bit. That production wasn't as effective as what it was before. I think a point guard like Josh Jiddey helps that. And then you look at the young players that we have that are going to like to run, get out, and Julian Phillips, Jalen Smith, Matas Buzelis, even hopefully Patrick Williams as well. I see the vision here, and I see that this team, the way that we played in December, is going to be more like what this team is going to try to play this full season. I'm not saying for sure that that's how they're going to play, but I think that those same type of thought processes and that type of methodology that they're going to, methodology is the word that I'm looking for, and how they're trying to attack, I think those are the type of things that you can try to see that this team is going to try to do. How successful they're going to be in that, that's another question. That's a question for another day. All right, I can't answer that. But that's what they're going to try to figure out over this time. So the play style is definitely changing with the Chicago Bulls team, and Josh Jiddey as the point guard is hopefully going to be a big part of helping to change that play style for the Chicago Bulls. And so, seeing Josh Jiddey play overseas has really opened my eyes a lot. And I think we also have to, I would say this to Bulls fans, try to keep an open mind in the sense that, yeah, season ended bad for Josh Jiddey, but this is still a player that's only a season removed from averaging 16, 8, and 8, basically, right? Like, he can be effective. He can be impactful. He can average near a triple-double. And I think that when you look at how this team is trying to change, now, how him and Kobe work together as a backcourt, I am going to be interested to see that, because you still want Kobe to have the ball in his hand sometimes. And that's up to Billy Donovan to really find the balance there. And I can understand not a lot of Bulls fans having that trust that Billy Donovan is going to be able to find that balance, right? So we're going to hope that he can. But overall, just seeing Josh Jiddey carve through Team USA, even though they didn't win, now through Puerto Rico, some of the other play that he's had as well this season, it's just things are going in the right direction, I think, as far as bringing Josh Jiddey in here as the point guard. We got Pat the Designer in the building, y'all.
Dog.
What's up, Pat?
Bro.
What
I had to go through to get on here, F crowd strike. Bro. What I had to, because I ain't did nothing on my computer all day because I've been at Bears training camp.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get in here for like 10 minutes. But
that's
whatever.
Hilarious.
We in this mode. What we talking about? Josh Jiddey?
Josh Jiddey, man.
Keep
Josh
him above
Jiddey.
18.
How'd you feel about it? Did you get to see Josh Jiddey playing against Puerto Rico?
I did. Josh Jiddey, at this point, I understand the stigma that like players can't play in the modern era and not be able to shoot threes. Mm-hmm. I understand why you want a player that can shoot threes and everything that comes with that. But that's dumb. When you watch this guy go out there and facilitate the basketball, how he's moving the offense, how the offense is being pulled on a string by him,
mm-hmm.
There's no way that you can't be excited by what you think the Chicago Bulls are getting. I understand the Alex Caruso attachment of it. I understand that you feel that we didn't get enough. But if he plays like that, I'll tell you what, we won the deal.
Yeah.
If he plays like that, we won. Like, I understand the concern and all of that around, like, you didn't get a draft pick back, blah, blah, blah. You got a 21-year-old kid that can ball out. Utilize that. That's, I mean, like, now here's the tough part. Is he going to play like that? That's the real question that you have to ask. Listen, Patty Mills is a god once every 4 years. We've seen Patty Mills absolutely destroy mugs once every 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So there's that aspect of it too. But yeah, I think that there's a confidence level in what I'm saying with Josh Jiddey, because to me, doesn't that just look like the Josh Jiddey when OKC was like the ball's in your hands?
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like I was going to say that, like, I get the pessimism of seeing him do it against international play because it is a different game. but we literally saw Josh Jiddey do something very close to that when he had a chance to be the actual point guard.
It's literally, you know what the thing is? Josh Jiddey, the conversation of an all-star, I don't know if he gets to that. But Josh Jiddey will be something the Chicago Bulls don't have.
And haven't had for a while.
Consistent.
Yeah.
He can be somebody who every single game, you know what he's going to give you? 8 to 9 assists.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking for. That's perfect.
And has been basically healthy his whole NBA season. 80 games played last season, 76 games played the season before that, which means he only missed 8 games over the total of the last 2 years. And then he played 54 games in the 2021-22 season, but that was the shortened season. That season was 72 games. So, yeah.
So, no, I mean, I love it. I think that Giddey is a great asset to this team. I mean, listen, watching Summer League, I know it's Summer League, so you can't take nothing from it, but at a minimum, it looks like the Bulls got some nice role players on this team. Now, you got to find the stars, but that's kind of how Denver did things for years, right? How many teams?
We've done things for years before.
Well, but how many? Yeah, that is true, right? With the Kirk Heinrich Bulls, yeah, that's a great point actually. But how many Denver teams did we see that we were like, these ones ain't going to the NBA Finals, but they a tough team. Like you don't want to play them in the first round.
Yeah.
Like those are the things to me that I like about how this team is actually being built. And I'm surprised to say I like anything about how this team is being built right now.
Wouldn't expect that where we started off this offseason with, right? Like it seems like AK's made a lot of right moves. And the thing is that it seems like he did that as well. Like when he initially goes to a plan, it seems like that first wave, he has that planned out. We just got to see now how he's going to support that going forward. But I mean, we haven't even gotten to see this yet. But like getting Matas Buzelis in here, getting Josh Jiddey, even getting Jalen Smith as a replacement for Andre Drummond. These are all really solid moves, especially for the money that you gave him at. You just got to see how this team is going to congeal together, man.
No, for sure, man, for sure. I'm congeal. I like that. Man. Throw that in there. A little congeal. How it's going to congeal together? It's like gelatin. It's like gelatin, man.
Anything left on Josh Giddey's play, man, before we get into this last topic?
Man, listen, stop making a joke so easy, bro. Score 19 points, bro.
He did score 19 points.
I thought he had 17 in this one. I thought he had 17
19, 5, and 5, right? In this one, I think. 19, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Keep it up, bro. Keep it up. Because you kept getting 17 and 16s, and I'm like, you can't do that, bro. Like, you can't make the jokes that easy.
All right, man. So next up, let's get into the topic, man. So apparently, Ayo Dosunmu changes his number to number 11, which had been worn by DeMar DeRozan since Ayo Dosunmu was drafted here. That's why he picked number 12, moving to number 11. How do you feel about not just the number 11 thing? You can give me your thoughts on that, but overall, like Ayo stepping into a different role. And I won't lie to you, Pat, I'm excited about Ayo Dosunmu being the first guard off the bench for this team with his versatility, how he grew offensively last year, especially when you had to put the ball in his hands, and even the times where Kobe missed games. Like Ayo Dosunmu just seemed like a player that was a lot more decisive, and now having that as being kind of your first guard coming off your bench, I like that a lot. How you feeling?
I mean, listen, the thing about Ayo is we saw him go through the sophomore slump. It was one of those things where it was like that happens to players sometimes. It's just a different world. And you got him back on a solid deal. You got him back on a deal that long-term is going to pay off for you. You also got that player now in a role that is perfect for him. The kind of player that we hoped that Ayo Dosunmu could be. I love the Drew Holiday comparisons that we had in his rookie year. I think by year 3, that may be a little bit lofty, although you never know, right, when you get a different role. But I think he's stepping in place of the exact guy I would want him to be, and that's Alex Caruso. Be the any man guy. That's what Alex Caruso was. You need a guy who's going to knock down 3. Alex Caruso stepped up and found a way to improve his 3-point shot. You need a guy that's going to guard the best player on the team. Alex Caruso was able to do that. You need a guy that's going to be able to control the offense. Alex Caruso was able to do that. That to me is what Ayo Dosunmu has an opportunity to be here. And I think that, listen, you can see, right, like the next contract for Caruso is probably going to be a pretty penny based off of where the new CBA is, based off of where the kind of contribution he's going to be able to give to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, those are the things to me that are going to be valued higher as we continue to go into this NBA that's kind of trying trying to find a new footing as far as defense and stuff like that, because you don't have a lot of players like that. There's not a lot of Alex Caruso's in the NBA. Like, it sounds crazy to say, but when you talk about players that can play on both ends, Alex Caruso is one of the better two-way players in the NBA.
For sure.
Because he's one of only like 8.
For sure. Now, you said it's funny because I just looked this up while you were talking, and that's just because I just wanted to see. You brought up the Drew Holiday comparisons. So I looked at year 3 of Drew Holiday as a starter and Ayo Dosunmu in year 3 as a starter. You ready to hear these numbers?
Oh, I feel like they spot on.
So Drew Holiday as a starter in his 3rd year, he started 65 games.
Yeah.
But he averaged 13.5 points per game. He shot the ball 43% from the field, taking almost 13 shots per game, and 38% from 3-point range, taking 2.5 per game. 4 rebounds and 3 rebounds and 4 assists and 1.5 steals per game. You look at that for Ayo Dosunmu as a starter, 37 games played. So, quite a bit, almost half, but he averaged 15.4 points per game on 50% shooting, taking 12 shots per game, 41% from 3, taking 5 threes per game, 3.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 1.5 steals.
Maybe he still got Drew Holiday in there.
I'm just saying.
Maybe he still got Drew Holiday in there. I would love it. And it's not the thing is, it's not to say that Ayo can't reach those heights. I just think that role is not going to be there for him.
No, fact. It's a very different role, right?
And so because of that, right, like I said, you're going to be the everyman that a team needs. You're going to be he's not going to be your starting point guard. That doesn't mean that he can't be the 6th man off of the bench who's winning 6th man of the year because of his contribution on what he can do on both ends. I think that Ayo Dosunmu, when you talk about 6th man of the year, is going to have a real shot at it this year because of how heavily we're going to be relying on him defensively.
Yeah.
Like, was he one of 3 players that play defense on this team?
I mean, Ayo, Patrick Williams, you can count Julian Phillips in there. He's an active defender.
Okay. And then I'll say Torrey Craig.
So
4.
Dalen Terry,
he do a lot of arm flailing. he do a lot of run. I mean,
he moves his feet. It's just that his arms are so long that anytime he moves, that's the only thing that you notice is that the arms are moving.
I swear, if you had Dalen Terry playing defense in front of a car dealership, you'll get people to drive in there because it'll be like that thing. You know what I mean? Look.
By the way, I gotta be careful. Dalen Terry mama follow me, so I gotta be careful.
Hey, I just got some questions. We'll talk about that offline.
Oh man, one preseason game left. Pat, before we get out of here, man. Yeah, Summer League. Sorry, game left. Just as a quick thing, does Buzelis play? Yes or no?
That was weird today, dog. Like, he played, but like he did, like, and then he played like starters minutes. Like, I guess he plays. Like, I don't. It was
really weird. It was really weird.
Did he like piss a coach off?
No, I think that they probably planned on saying, hey, we're just going to play you a couple of minutes here, like a stretch in the first half, a stretch in the second half. No. And then it actually became a game. And knowing how competitive Buzelis is, he's probably like, you're not taking me out.
Bro, it's exactly what you said when I said they should sit him. They probably came to him and were like, hey, we're going to sit you the rest of the way. He's like, the hell you are?
Exactly. You think you about to sit me?
I guarantee you that's how that went down.
Hilarious,
because it didn't make sense. That made absolutely no sense. I was like, so you played him, like, unless you just want to see him with a different unit,
or if you just wanted to take, because in replace of him, Andrew Funk and Henry Drell got more shots and they still looked like trash. So unless they just wanted to make sure and say, hey, we think you're trash, but let's see how trash are you.
Fam, Andrew Funk and Henry Drell have been on the team for 3 years. We knew they were trash.
Well, Funk he ain't even be a whole season here. Now, Henry Drell has been here 3 years.
What we got? Oh, no, Funk he came middle of the season last year. Yeah, he came mid-season last year, and everybody's like, is that Neil Funk's son? Shut up. No, I ain't got nothing else, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. On God.
The on God is new. It's crazy. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, man. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Locked On Bulls. We are free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, and Fire TV. For Pat the Designer, this has been Locked On Bulls, man. We out here, y'all. Peace.